Hey everyone, it's Dr. Dan, and over the next few minutes, what I'm going to be going over is a question I get oftentimes is what is chiropractic really in 2020? How can it help me? And what are the main things that are causing dysfunction and dis-ease within the human body? And what are some things that we can do about it? Stay tuned. So if you're watching this video and you're like many people in this country, when you think of the word chiropractor, you typically think of things like back pain and neck pain and, oh, I threw my back out, better go see the chiropractor, all these types of different things. But then you start to hear about some of your friends or family, or you hear about testimonials and it's like, man, these things don't really sound like just a pain thing. This person is sleeping better, and this person is having better digestion, and this person is actually moving a lot better, and maybe this person over here is experiencing less anxieties, and this person is getting sick less often. What is going on? Well, guys, one of the main things that we always talk about within our practice is that chiropractic is way bigger than just pain. Pain is just the tip of the iceberg. And chiropractic in 2020, if I could tell you anything, is really about optimizing the body's ability to adapt to the stressors of life. If you're like me and you're like anybody, stress is a major, major part of our day-to-day life. It's a stressful time. As I'm making this video right now, we're in a very stressful season in our world. At any time that you're watching this video, we've got stress, we've got pressures of life, we've got relationships, we've got financial pressures, we've got family. There's all kinds of different things that are causing an overwhelming amount of stress on our body. And I'm sure this doesn't shock many of you to hear that stress is a major, major cause of chronic health problems within our culture. In fact, the National Institute of Health in 2017, they estimated that over 90%, I'll say it again, 90% of all visits to a physician had to do back with chronic stress in some way. And so the question is, how does that happen? And what does chiropractic have to do with any of that? Well, in our office, we like to educate our patients on what we call the 3 T's. So a chiropractor in 2020 and a chiropractor in 2020 and beyond, a neurologically based chiropractor, is focused on analyzing, locating, and reducing what's called a vertebral subluxation complex. And what a subluxation is when one or more bones of the spine either shifts out of alignment or stops moving properly. And when that happens, it not only can cause pain, but it can cause dysfunction in the body. And so how the dysfunction happens is that your nervous system, your central nervous system, the master control system of your entire body, is designed to help your body adapt to the situations and its surroundings. When your body cannot adapt to its environment or to its surroundings, it starts to break down. This is something that I hit home to our patients all the time, is that the human body's inability to adapt to stress will cause it to break down. Now, there's 3 main types of stress. We have physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. In chiropractic, we call it the 3 T's, the thoughts, the traumas, and the toxins, okay? Now, they all invoke the same response on the human body. Our inability to adapt to those stressors causes it to break down. Now, from a physical standpoint, that makes sense. If I try to pick up something that's too heavy for me, or if I grab a heavy box and I turn, my body cannot adapt to that physical stress. It's going to break down in the form of an injury. But how does this work when it comes to the chemical response or to the emotional or the mental health type responses? The stressors that we experience on a regular basis are usually those types of stressors, the relationships, the money, the stress at work, whatever it is, creating the stress response within the body. Researchers are showing that this is the cause of over 90%, I'll say it again, of chronic health concerns. Here's how. When our body is in a stress response, if a tiger walks into the room, my body is going to go into a fight or flight type response. If it does that, my body is purposely going to up my heart rate and up my breathing in order to get away from the tiger, to shunt blood to my brain for better decision making. But the problem with that is that if it's doing that all day long because we're stressed at work or stressed in our relationships, it's also doing things like shunting blood away from my digestive organs. My body is not concerned about digesting a meal if it's getting away from the proverbial tiger. Here's another example for you. When you're under significant amounts of stress, your brain releases a stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is known over long periods of time to increase inflammation, and it also suppresses immunity. How many of you all have ever realized that when you're stressed out, you tend to get sick more often? This is why. Now here's the reality. Stress is inevitable. It's part of our life. We're going to have stressors. We're going to have the physical stressors. We're going to have the emotional stressors. We can't change the relationships that we have, or the experiences that we're having at work, or the financial pressures that we're under. All those things can be changed, but stress is a normal part of life. And the amazing reality about your human body is you are designed to adapt to that stress. The inability to adapt to that stress is where the problem lies. That is where chiropractic comes into play. What we now know through a lot of research is that when we can get the spine aligned and moving, this plays a big component on that stress response. Chiropractic is not just for pain. The reality is when you get the spine aligned and moving again, it feels better. And that's great. We want people feeling great so that they can go out and have a great quality of life. But when the spine is considered the motor of the brain, if it's not moving appropriately, it's actually sending those same stress signals to the brain. What's more is that when you get a chiropractic adjustment, what we also know is that you release a hormone called oxytocin. What oxytocin does is it actually suppresses cortisol, that stress hormone. So now that is helping. When cortisol is suppressing immunity, oxytocin is overriding cortisol and depleting cortisol within the body. Here's what I love about the chiropractic perspective. When we're looking at the human body, it's all about optimizing your function to adapt to anything more appropriately. So we want to take your body and strengthen it to adapt appropriately to your environment, rather than trying to adapt the environment to suit the weakened body. It's a big difference when it comes to healthcare. Chiropractic is not about treating any diseases. It's not about treating somebody's digestive issues, or treating somebody's anxieties, or treating somebody's sleep dysfunctions. Chiropractic, in fact, is about optimizing your health in general by optimizing your ability to adapt to your environment. When you can do that, you're going to sleep better. When you can do that, you're going to digest food better. When you can do that, you're going to have better hormone function. Not because the chiropractor treated all those things, but because your body, the greatest doctor in the history of the universe, is your living body. And when your body can adapt to stress appropriately, you can experience all the health and vitality and the wellness benefits associated with that. I hope that makes sense. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have questions, comment below. We love putting out educational content and information in order to challenge your thinking, to inspire action in your life, and to improve your quality of life. Thanks so much.